Hello, everybody. Sorry, it took me a few minutes. I don't know why to go live today because of some issues with YouTube. But anyways, we are here. Sorry for being 3 minutes late. Uh, if you could just say hello to me in the chat, let me know. Let me know who you are. We can kick off the discussion, or send me a question. Send me a question which I can try to discuss. So once again, thank you so much for making the time. I'm very excited about this one because this uh, topic has been uh, very popular in the past, and I have had people asking for it for a while. Um, I don't have any questions in advance for this live, but I have had some discussions in the past. Maybe I can kick off the chat with those points. Please say hello to me in the chat if so that I know that you are here. Otherwise, in YouTube interface, there's no way to tell who's live, so who's online. While we're waiting for others to join, please, well, I would like to start with some of the topics around career development. Uh, so essentially, for career development, we could start with uh, first of all figuring out what is the right career path. It also depends upon your ambitions and goals and what's the current uh, career stage you are at, and also it also you also sometimes need to uh, think of the situations where how to get out of a situation where you are stuck in your current job, and how to get out of it. That also needs some career planning. So again, everybody's situation is different, so I mean, there's no single answer how it can be done, but I'm just talking about some of the topics, uh, potential topics related to career development. One more thing very important is uh, about career development is uh, finding out the most valuable skills in the market, and uh, essentially develop those career skills. Essentially, we should be doing that all the time. And also, yeah, I mean, something very related to that is how to stay relevant in your field with the rapid changes in technology. Okay, my discussion is mostly focused on technology, but again, this is true for any business domain or any job, essentially. So we need to stay relevant because nowadays the space of change is really really fast. So yeah. Okay, I'm just taking a quick look at my WhatsApp messages to see if there's any questions over there, or if people are not able to join. Just bear with me for a second. Okay. now, so this is some of the topics. Uh, I mean, related to career planning. The other I mean there I mean, also there's something related that related to career planning is uh, what I mean, what are the strategies for getting promoted? How can you negotiate a better salary, better raise, or how can you switch how can you go through career transition, or how can you switch the industries or job roles? And also, sometimes we all need a career break, and how to we have to really plan it strategically, like what will the career break look like, what will be the duration, and what am I gonna do, and how am I gonna get prepared for the next job when my career break ends. So these are some career planning related topics. Again, welcome everybody. Whoever is online, please say hello to me in the chat so that I know who it is, and I'm encouraged uh, to talk more about these things. Now, so hey Prakar, thank you so much for joining. Hey Atul, oh wow, good to see you Atul. Thanks a lot for making the time. I know it's working day for you, but I am happy that you could join. Please, I'm talking about career planning right now, and I mean, I had some discussions a couple of days back, and I'm basing this talk based. I'm right now talking about those points that I discussed a couple of days back. But hey, Ajay, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you are here. Uh, so right now, I'm I'm essentially continuing the discussion I had a couple of days back with some other participants. In the meantime, I will encourage you to ask if you have a specific question that will be essentially that I can talk about. Again, it has to be a two-way discussion, not something that I talk about. You feel free to give me feedback in the chat or ask me any other question or follow-up questions as well. Or if I'm talking about a topic, maybe that will, if you come across any points based on that, please go ahead and ask me in the chat. So we covered some career development topics just a few minutes back, like what are the different reasons or causes for or rather triggers for career development, right? um, Now, since I don't have live question right now, I will continue my previous discussion from a couple of days back. The another topic that came up was how do we do job search? How do we plan job search? Again, welcome. There are a few new people who joined. Please let me know who you are in the chat and if you have any questions. So, one of the most important aspects of job search is making your resume stand out. Your resume is essentially your advertisement pamphlet. So you have to make the best use of those 2 3 pages. Honestly, not too many hiring managers look at your resume for more than, let's say, 10 seconds before they uh, decide to read it further. So make sure that, yeah. Prakhar, good question about resume. So Prakhar is asking, should resume be one pager always? Um, I would say no. I believe it. Sometimes one pager works, sometimes it doesn't. Do when I'm applying for a job, I do ask the recruiter sometimes whether for feedback on the resume, whether it's too long or whether it's too short, and sometimes they're happily able to tell that. I would say make it if you have like up to, let's say, 3 years experience, one pager is fine. And I mean, feel free to make it to 2 pages long. That highlights your and I highlight your most important skills and most important aspirations or ambitions, or try to sell your skills within those 2 pages, I would say. 2 pages, I have seen people even liking 3 page resumes. But if there's no way, if there's certain thing you want to highlight, really really important in your past career, and then go ahead with 2.5 to 3 pages. But definitely not more than 2.5 or 3 pages. For people around 5 year experience, I would say 2 pages is good enough. If one you can do one page, it takes a lot of effort to make it shorter, honestly. um, and still be able to sell it and highlight it. So it will take more effort to make it one pager, but 1.5 page is awesome for up to 5 years experience. Ajay or Atul, or any questions from you, or Prakhar, any more follow up questions or any feedback from me? I hope everybody is able to hear me clearly. Yep. Another topic that came up was what are the some common mistakes to avoid on LinkedIn. Um, believe it or not, I, LinkedIn is where people go to. They even before a recruiter looks at your resume, they do go to LinkedIn. They search for you on the internet and they try to find you on LinkedIn. And if you're not looking good on LinkedIn, it's or your resume doesn't really match your LinkedIn profile, then you kind of don't stand out. Hey Sanjay, thanks for asking. I'm glad you are here. Uh, some of the good websites for job search besides LinkedIn and Indeed nowadays, these are the two that I have seen. Again, there are some websites where some kind of jobs for which there are other websites like Career Builder or maybe Dice or Monster that are good. I've seen some job posts are not advertised even on LinkedIn. I mean, especially smaller companies, they can't pay that much. So, and even same goes for Indeed. These are probably more expensive options. So some of the job positions are apply are you can get on Career Builder or on Dice or Indeed. Or again, this is I'm talking about US here. In there may be some more websites in Canada. I don't recall specifically, but LinkedIn and Indeed are most popular right now. Uh, in India, I still believe there may be Naukri.com, but I believe Indeed and LinkedIn are still the most popular, even in India. Hey Ajay, found it. I'm not sure. Thanks for sharing, but I don't know much about this website. So, Sanjay, I hope this was helpful. So, unless there are more live questions, I will go ahead with the other follow-up questions from the last stream. Um, Atul, with over 10 years of experience like me, you likely have multiple options or different roles to consider. Should we create a separate resume for each role? Yes, separate resume for each role. And it's sad, but if you want real impact and your resume to stand out, you have to customize it for the job position and highlight specific. That's very specific thing. In one case, I remember there was a transportation company who liked my resume, but they wanted me to highlight those portions from uh, those sections of my resume in more detail where I had transportation experience. Let's say so specify essentially you should customize the resume for that job so that within the first few seconds the hiring manager says, hey, I want to talk to this guy. So yeah, thank you so much. Glad to hear, Sanjay. Oh, Ajay, I did not know that there's a new name for Monster. That's interesting. At least not in the states. I've seen in Canada and the states it's still called Monster. Atul, if do you have follow-up question on this? Did I was I able to answer this? Again, in chat you can also share your opinions as well. It doesn't have to be one way. Yeah, in the next few weeks, I will try to figure out how to do two-way audio and video. Uh, but until then, unfortunately, the only way we can interact is through the chat. Zip Recruiter, that's interesting. Prakhar says Zip Recruiter is now becoming popular in North America. There's a very old website, at least 15-year-old company. Uh, they used to charge to send your resume to thousands of recruiters. Uh, uh, and I am glad to see. I heard about Zip Recruiter after a long, long time. They started like in 2004 or 5. Glad to hear that Monster has a new name in India. That's interesting. I don't know if Naukri.com is still there. That used to be very popular in the past. So, yeah, I was talking about LinkedIn. Some of the I have seen people making really basic mistakes on LinkedIn, which really puts off recruiters. As like you not using the correct headline or title, not using the correct logo for your organization or the or certification, misspelling all over the place. Uh, I mean, sometimes I've seen people duplicating their experience or education or some part of the profile, uh, and sometimes there's just I've seen people with completely missing sections on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the most powerful marketing tool for your profile right now. So please ensure it, even if it's very short, not as detailed as the resume, it should look neat, and it should match the resume at a high level. There should not be very obvious discrepancies between the resume and your LinkedIn profile. So these are some common mistakes, and just couple of days back, in fact, somebody I've been mentoring, they told me they didn't care about their LinkedIn for a long time, and they didn't even believe that changing their LinkedIn profile and using LinkedIn to interact with other hiring managers will totally change their game. And just last week, I think he got a new job, and he also got a new internship offer. So and it's all through LinkedIn. When he was using traditional ways, it didn't work out. So that's about LinkedIn. Also, there was a question last time on networking, how to effectively network even if you're introvert. Well, essentially, you can. I mean, virtual interaction is a lot easier, even if you are an introvert. You can again, LinkedIn is still the most powerful networking tool. You can also use other social media or uh, text as well, keep in touch with your connections or ask for introductions offline as well. So that still works. And try to have, like, I would say, meet a couple of people in a month, if not every week, in person if possible, or even online, even virtually. Try to meet them. Even hosting online sessions like this and getting audience works as well, so that more people know about you, uh, and uh, and networking becomes a lot easier. But again, if you're introvert, going live and being online, uh, video may not be that easy. Use I would say just use LinkedIn and go ahead, go from there. For some jobs, essentially being an introvert may not work at all, so maybe that's a skill you want to develop. What role does networking play in job search process? um, okay, before I address that, there's a very good question from ABR clips. He says there are multiple technical and non-technical local chapters where you have the opportunity to meet industry experts locally. Absolutely right. I have seen uh, I have seen people hosting monthly sessions, virtual and in person, and what do you call offline sessions on meetup.com, as well as Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Meetup.com is still very popular, at least popular where I live, in Vancouver, Canada. So Sushant, very true. I mean, attending meetups and local chapters of, I mean, if you are a part of an organization related to your skill set, let's say business analyst or some technical user group, uh, to go ahead and uh, meet them in person, attend one of their meetings. That way, if you are introvert as well, you will learn over a period of time how to interact with people, with other people, and gain confidence in interacting with other people in person. There are I've seen there's a website called Exponent. Try Exponent. They are they also have a feature where you can have peer-to-peer discussions, like interviews and such, peer-to-peer interview, and help each other. So that is one more way to network. Definitely find your areas of interest and go to meetup.com or LinkedIn and find some events that are planned related to your domain. That's very true, Sushant. This is a good way uh, to show who you are and to network with other people. Essentially, in times like these, when jobs are scarce and less, uh, most more often than not, most of the positions uh, filled through networking. Essentially, recently I read that in any case, uh, almost 70% of all job positions are essentially filled through referrals or networking. Almost 70%. So I think not in just this kind of tight job market, pretty much always networking helps. And also lately I've been uh, giving some uh, I've been uh, a part of a job sorry, I've been helping some people with feedback, manager feedback and such from for as a follow-up from job interview process. And just because they were in touch with me and they were networking with me all the time, even after we left the company, I've been able to help them with feedback for during their job interview process. And I'm glad that at least one of them is already successful in the interview. I got the news yesterday. So, and that's just because I was in touch with them and they were in touch with me all along. I was able to help them. So, all right. Now, any other questions from the live audience? And I do see some new people are there in the live. Please say hello in the chat and let me know if you have a question. Any feedback so far, guys? I've been just talking all the time. Very interesting, Sushant. I haven't thought of it much. Essentially, so Sean says, ABR Clip says, please don't ignore the local recruitment agency portals where your resume can be noticed earlier than other platforms. That's very interesting. I never use that honestly. So that's a good thing I learned today. So there are many local recruitment agencies like, uh, I mean, there's no name that comes on top of my head, but they do have their own job portals where they publish their jobs, and they probably have a portal where you can submit your resume. Yep. Persistence is the key, though. That's very true, Sushant. Yep. Yeah. In Canada, in Vancouver at least, there's companies like Tima, Ignite, Robert Half. They do have their websites, and I believe they do proactively maintain their database. Prakhar says networking with local recruiters is also very helpful. They get many positions even before they open on the public platforms. That's so very true. In many cases, I was approached by recruiters where even before the job position was open, because these recruiters have a direct relationship with the hiring managers, and these recruiters also keep on checking regularly with the manager if they need anything. The good recruiters, are always aware of what's going on in each company, and they can sometimes suggest the hiring managers on what the hiring should look like, and they work very closely with the hiring managers. I've been as a manager also. I have worked with hiring agencies for a long time, and all these agencies recruiters were in touch with me throughout the year to know what's going on in the project, and so that they're able to forecast the need, and even help manager uh, plan the hiring. Absolutely, Prakar. The recruiter gets a cut too, so it's in their benefit to get good candidate. That well, that's the reason they work hard. Yep. Very true. It's close to 25 minutes already, and we have covered a couple of topics already. Although this is like the topic is a fairly generic right now, uh, and I believe um, each of these topics takes like half an hour discussion in itself, which is not possible right now, but we can do it some other day. So yeah, I mean, the other topic I want to talk about is interviews. There were a lot of questions last time uh, on related to interviews. So please go ahead if you and ask me any thought-provoking question around interviews. I will try to answer from my experience. I have been on both this ends for many years, like as a interviewee and even as an interviewer. So I can probably share my thoughts from both the angles. Or if you had a recent interview, you could share how the experience was, or what are the challenges faced and how you could overcome those. Interestingly, just a couple of hours back, somebody met me. I had an interview, and I interviewed somebody, and they told me I had to teach them about the STAR method of answering interview questions. It's a very popular method. You could just Google what STAR method is. Essentially, S stand for situation, and then T for task, A for action, and R for result. So whenever there's a somebody asks about an example of, let's say, conflict resolution, where you resolve a conflict, uh, you have to essentially uh, look back and take a deep breath and pause a bit and think how you're going to answer the question. What Understand clearly what the question was asked, and if not clear to you, ask a follow-up question to the interviewee, to the interviewer, and then start answering the question deliberately after uh, understanding what the question is. So, and then first explain the situation, and essentially task here in T T here means task. Task means what your role is, what your responsibilities are in this situation. A means what actions you took to resolve the situation. And very importantly, what the result was. So, our if we I've seen a couple of people just say that, hey, this is what I did, this is what the situation was, and this is what I did, and they just assume the interviewer will understand what the result was. But sometimes they expect you to explain clearly what the result was of your actions. So please don't forget the R. The other interesting part of essentially this other topic I wanted to cover today was situations and issues in workplace. So maybe if you have a question on how to handle a certain specific issue in the workplace, I can talk about it based on my experience. Sushant says, prepare as per the level. That's very true. You have to essentially uh, be aware of what's the expectation from a certain level, and uh, make sure your answers match the expectations from that level. Um, Sushant says HR is expecting idealistic approach. However, the hiring manager expects the application approach. Oh, I think um Sushant, here you probably mean that the hiring manager expects uh, the practical approach. I believe that's what you mean. Yep, there may be some idealistic ways to do things. Sometimes you have to find a workaround and uh, some innovative solution to a situation. And I think the hiring manager expects that as well. It may not always be the best way, but it may work in certain situations. Sushant, correct me if I'm wrong, if I understood your point correctly. Thank you. Yep. A lot of questions I had in the past was around work-life balance, how to manage stress, how to uh, how to have a how to essentially, if you have parents and if you're a parent and have kids to take care of, how to manage both work and family responsibilities. Uh, so if you guys have any thoughts on that or any questions on that, let me know. Essentially around work-life balance and managing stress. This is the single most, I think, what do you call this? Is a very popular topic that people want to talk about and talk to each other about, but many times they just ignore it because there are no real forums to talk about how to manage stress. I have seen, uh, if you have good relationship with your manager, do always mention when you are stressed and why. More often than not, your manager will, their job itself is to help you reduce the stress. If you are very, I mean, definitely have one-on-ones with your manager regularly. If they forgot to set up, ask them for it, or you set it up, and then ensure that they are aware of your specific situation. uh, I have made this mistake in the past. I have, like 8 years back, I took up, uh, I moved to a new team, and there was not too many people in the team, so I took up many responsibilities as they came my way, and that was not the right way. I should have highlighted to my manager that, hey, I don't have this X role, let's say program manager, uh, or product manager helping me out, and suddenly there's too much work and I'm not able to handle all of these roles, right? So once I thought I'm able to, and but suddenly the expectations increased. I could not play these three roles, and I got very, very stressed. And I managed it to one of the managers, essentially my manager, and even one level above. Uh, and they told me, "We never expected you to do this. Why didn't you to do all these three roles? Why didn't you not highlight to me that a new person is required in the team?" And I was taken aback that, uh, well, honestly, it was my own mistake that I did not let the management know about the problem. And sometimes we just tend to overthink. So, uh, a situation, I have done that. That happened to me many times. Uh, I have seen meditation, regular meditation works wonders. It's not easy sometimes, and we forget. But through regular meditation, our brain is calm and thinking clearly, and and it does not over or exaggerate a certain situation. So, uh, definitely, meditation does help. Any kind of meditation. If you have any thoughts on how to manage stress, let me know. Also, I have seen sometimes in certain organizations, the organization is in the state of flux, and people are changing. Even your manager would be probably in a state, not in a good state, good situation, and they also may be stressed. So, I've seen, always maintain a relationship or maybe monthly one-on-ones with a skip level, because they know much more than your manager. And even if your manager is not around, uh, they can help you. So if you have, and many times I have seen what the we many times we rely on our manager, but uh, most of the time we rely on our manager, but sometimes there's a difference of opinion between skip level or and your manager itself. So for you to be in sync with what's going on at the other end, or rather at one level above, what are they thinking, what their priorities are, it's very important to be in touch with the senior level. And also that helps with your promotion as well, having visibility of what you're up to and what your goals are or your ambitions are. If you highlight it to one level above regularly, uh, um, I mean, make them essentially make them your team member in a way. Make both your manager and their manager on your side. I mean, bring them on your side, and ensure they are in sync. Sometimes we have to work uh, towards ensuring that they both are in sync, because if their priorities don't match, no matter how hard you work to deliver something, if there's no if these two, both the levels are not in sync, uh, eventually it will be a failure. Even if the delivery was a success, uh, it will be a failure from business point of view. This happened to me once when I was with Amazon. I was one of the first people in the team, and first remote people in Canada, and in this team, and my manager was very new as well to the organization, even newer than me, and uh, the director who this manager reported to was in a different country, and uh, I was surprised to see. I mean, essentially, I had a meeting with one-on-one meeting with the director once, and I very happily told them, "Hey, we delivered this thing yesterday in 3 months instead of six. I thought I will get a praise for that." And it was a very challenging delivery, and one of the first deliveries of that team uh, remotely, and it needed a lot of effort for 3 months, and it was probably a priority for my manager, who was also new, and it was a priority for some part of the business folks, but the higher level, the director level, at director level, this wasn't the priority. The priority had changed last quarter, and this new manager and these few business people who wanted that feature did not even know about it. And I was shocked. I thought, as a new team member, I did a great job and I will get appreciation for it from all levels. But I was taken aback. And that's when I realized that I should have started speaking to the senior management in the new team uh, uh, from from the beginning itself, not like after 3 months of delivery. So that was a big shock, and because I was even more senior in experience in the organization than my manager. Um my senior management, top management expectation was that I should have taken care of this and ensured that the new manager and their manager is in sync. So that was a big learning for me, to be aware of priorities at all levels, or at least at two levels. So that was a stressful situation I had to handle a few years back. So yeah, so these are again some of uh, the points I can think of in a regular workplace where you can think of. Some people also are essentially running a startup and or have their own business. They go through some a few, they go through different kind of stressful situations, which require different kind of skill set and tactics. So maybe we can cover that sometime. It's about 40 minutes already, and we have covered a lot of points. So, thanks everybody for being around for so long and asking some really thought provoking questions. I hope I was able to give some useful responses or answers and share my ideas. Uh, there's a lot more. There's a lot more we can talk about in case of uh, workplace dynamics or a workplace culture. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody who told that who told me she came from a very big and very well-known company to another well-known company, but their cultures differed, and she did not know. She did not care much about it. She knew that the other approach or the culture is much more effective and better, but being new to the organization, she should have ensured first that others are aware of why we have to do things in a certain way. So, being aware of culture from the very beginning is very, very key. Some companies give a lot more ownership, for example, to each team or each team member, irrespective of the level. But some companies don't expect that level of ownership from everybody. So, this is just one example. Some people are very open. uh, I mean, in some companies, you can escalate thinks very openly and quickly, and it's not considered a bad thing. But I've been in companies where the word escalation was a taboo, which is not a good thing. But as a matter of fact, they had a different way of handling explanations, right? Now, of course, I mean, these are, I mean, it's been almost 40 minutes. So I would, unless I get another question in the next 2 minutes, I will close this today's live. I know there's each, in, I mean, each in every topic deserves its own, its own discussion. So maybe we can cover every single point separately in the coming days, and I will let you know as we go. Please do like and like my videos and subscribe to the channel so that I can create more content, and YouTube allows me to use more features. And all this support, I never thought 2 days back I would be able to do this, but I just started 2 days back, and I have already had five fairly successful live streams, some of them up to 4 hours long. So I believe I'm able to, although I'm still using very, I'm still very newbie and kind of doing it informally. I don't have great audio equipment or video equipment, and or even I don't even come very well prepared, honestly. So thanks for all the collaboration and participation. And please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and like videos and comment on them, give me feedback, and that would help me in growing this channel and preparing more, much better, well organized content. In future, I plan to create some, let's say, slides or documents or spreadsheet, and that would be helpful for others, and share it in the live stream uh, if I see a lot more traction uh, for this live. So, anyways, I thank you all for joining, and have a great night, or have a good night, and a good day. I will see you in the next live. Bye bye. Thanks for joining.